Mark here on resistancequest.com, and a quick video, clearly made on my phone, just to talk about quickly how I transitioned to veganism. I was vegetarian for 3 years, in which time I also was not eating gelatin, wasn't eating much in the way of honey. I ate some honey, but not much. I was already used to eating tofu and meat substitutes and milk substitutes, and I never put cream or milk in my coffee anyway, so that was never a problem. Ate a lot of eggs and a lot of dairy, but I was also fairly familiar with alternatives. So it took 2.5 to 3 years to really see myself becoming vegan, because for a long time I thought to myself, well, there are enough people doing that. There are people who are going that far, and I'm doing what I can right now, and that's enough. I do other things for social justice issues. I'm an anti-war activist. I'm an activist in other fields. I do plenty, and in terms of veganism, in terms of vegetarianism or veganism, vegetarianism is enough for me. And it took a period in which I started to think about that idea that a certain level of activism or a certain level of action was enough to accomplish an end. And the reason I became vegetarian was for the animals. I'm an animal lover. I've had pet rats who are rescues. I've had other animals who are rescues. I've just always had sympathy and empathy, etc., for animals. And even going back even further, at a certain point, I thought I was an animal person. This was before I was a vegetarian. I thought I was an animal lover. And someone called me on it. Well, if you're an animal lover, why do you eat animals? And it was the same thing as it was right before becoming vegan, where I was, at the time, I was like, well, other people do that. I can be an animal lover and still eat meat. Because it's just, that's how strongly I feel about animals. But really, if you don't walk any kind of walk, then your talk means literally nothing, in a lot of ways. So that was the beginnings of vegetarianism, and then with veganism it was very similar. It was like, well, I'm an animal lover, but I contribute to the dairy and egg industry. And I watched a video by Think Vegan about how the dairy industry contributes to the veal industry. And, she and I discussed a little bit, and it became clear to me that veganism was the answer for me. And this was at the end of a period of watching Vegan Gains and certain other channels, not all of whom I would quote as, or would cite as, huge influences on me, but they influenced me. They just didn't push me in the direction of, I need to do this. But that Think Vegan video did, in a way, and that conversation with Think Vegan did. And so that was a point at which I realized that on an even greater level, that my actions have consequences. And that if I believe something, and I want it to mean anything, I have to act on that belief to the greatest, literally the greatest extent that I can. Because the lower the extent to which I act on it, the lower it actually means anything to me. The less it actually means anything to me. If you know what I mean. So then, being in the fact that I am a personal trainer, I know about nutrition to some extent. I'm not a nutritionist, but I know about nutrition. And I've planned meals before for myself. I've planned plenty of meals for myself, meal plans. Making a vegetarian 5 meal a day plan, and then that was no problem. And then I was able to make a vegan 5 times a day meal for weight gain. And, so planning meals, so having alternatives to various things was never that hard an issue for me. because of the fact that I am in the nutrition world. So I've had my ups and downs, I've made some mistakes, and I've had guidance along the way. Happy Healthy Vegan has been guidance. Certain videos by Durian Ryder have helped. Humorous Fitness has been a fun guide, because he's just about as much, has been a vegan about as long as I have. Who else? Certain others who have been guides along the way. Vegan Gains too, in a way, although that's a whole other issue how I feel about vegan gains. It's an issue about how everyone feels about vegan gains, hence there's a million videos called How I Feel About Vegan Gains. And I might make my video about how I feel about them someday, but maybe not, we'll see. So, those people, those videos, those channels, you know, helped me more than books, I have to say, more than most websites helped me. It was those folks on those channels who have helped me. And I am a vegan because of ethics. So I'm not an expert on the health consequences, the health benefits of veganism, except for what I've heard in various videos. That's partly why, as of now, I'm not a proselytizing vegan. That is to say, I don't make an effort to convert people to veganism. I don't get in their face about it. If they start the discussion, or I start it one way or the other, I'll have it. But I am only a vegan for 3 months now, or 4 months, and I'm not comfortable yet with getting in people's faces, making them feel bad, making them uncomfortable, making it about my veganism, making it about veganism, whatever. Yet, if I ever will be. It's just not my thing. It's not my personality type. I can have the conversation. I'm not a confrontational person, and I don't like making people uncomfortable. And I don't think making them feel shameful is generally a good approach in a lot of cases. Was my response to Think Vegan's video about veal, did that have to do with shame? Maybe it had to do with shame. But more, it was about a realization. It wasn't about being ashamed. It wasn't about feeling bad or self-pity or I'm a bad person. It was about I can do better. And I think that's where I fit in terms of contributing to the vegan message, getting the vegan message out there, if there is one. I can help people think about the fact that they can be better. That's what I do as a personal trainer, is I help people identify a better version of themselves that they want to work towards, and I help them get there. It's pretty easy to do. When it comes to diet, I help people conceive of a nutrient-dense diet that includes a lot of healthy, energy-producing carbs, that doesn't overemphasize protein, doesn't underemphasize it either, and that works with their lifestyle, and that fits into a healthy, exercise-heavy lifestyle. I haven't started pushing plant-based diet on people. I talk about veganism with them if it comes up, but I don't push them in that direction yet. I push them very subtly. When I talk about the nutrient-rich foods that they should be eating, everything is plant. Everything. Obviously. I don't push people towards eggs. If I talk about how eggs are great for them, or how they heard this Dr. Stork or Dr. Axe or Dr. Oz talking about how eggs are great, or Dr. Mercola, I say, no, they're not. I educate them. I don't tell them what they want to hear. That's where I am right now. I'm at the point where I don't tell people what they want to hear. I tell them what they need to hear. And if I get a chance to tell them what I believe also, I'll fill them in on that front too. So, and this has all been part of my transition to veganism. Like I said, it took 3 years of vegetarianism, of which I was pretty proud, but not boisterous or arrogant or whatever. I wasn't a braggart. I just lived a certain way, and it was gratifying to live that way. But all of a sudden, I realized I could be doing more. Now, the next step for me with veganism is turning the act of not doing something, and not eating meat, not eating animal products, is an act of not doing something, and finding something that I can do instead of not do. That's where I am now. That's the step I'm trying to take in some way. I have a lot of things that are valuable or important to me that I'm passionate about, that I want to put time and energy into. Veganism is the only one, but it's one of them. And so I'm trying to find out how to do veganism in a proactive, positive, contributive way. So, this video is already too long. I'm going to try to edit it down a little bit, make it a little cleaner. But I hope you got something out of it. And if you feel like subscribing, please do. And if you feel like liking, please like. If you got something out of the video, like the video. And I'll talk to you all soon. Now go out there and pump some iron. Hard. Hard.